put yellow. The incubation period is around 2 weeks. If you can remember that, that's fine. So we are done now with what? The pathogenicity and clinical features of Giardia. So we are done with what now? What are we looking at today? Giardia lamblia, that is a protozoa which is having flagella. It is intestinal. The habitat is the intestine, the small intestine especially. And in the small intestine it will exist. In the large intestine it will encysst. Right? The infective form is the cyst. Remember, it will not invade, it will stay in the lumen. It will adhere to the intestine. Now, how do you do lab diagnosis of Giardia? So, stool examination. So, stool examination, you can detect what and all. First of all, you should see that multiple specimens you will need if you want to examine the cyst. If you need cyst, you need to examine. You may need multiple specimens of the stool. So, you will use concentration techniques for the stool like formal ether, zinc acetate. So, you can use concentration techniques. These are very standard things that you will write for stool examination. The stool will have offensive odor and it will be fat containing. This you know, right? Because there is steatorrhea. Fat malabsorption is there. Microscopic examination, you will see the cysts. Cysts, only cysts if they are there, no? That time it is an asymptomatic carrier, and you can use saline and iodine wet mount preparations to observe these cysts. Similarly, for trophozoites also you can use these saline and Giemsa stain and iodine you can use, okay, iodine also you can use. Now there is something called as entero test or string test, okay, you should know these two words, entero test or string test. So this is expensive and not actually recommended, but this is kind of an interesting thing that you can know for Giardia lamblia. Or what they will do is they will this kind of a capsule, the curled thread with a gelatinous capsule at the end which is acting like a weight. They will give this, and okay, what they will do, they will attach this thread which is free end to the cheek. Actually it's a longer thread, so let us say this is a long thread, and here there is a gelatinous capsule, okay. This they will attach it to this man's cheek, okay, and he will swallow this gelatin capsule. It will move, go through the stomach and then reach the duodenum. After 2 hours, what they will do, they will withdraw this thread. So this gelatin capsule also will come up. Then what they will do, they will place this thing in the saline and they will centrifuge the saline. So they will take saline and they will keep this in the saline, and then they will centrifuge this saline. Whatever deposit they get, that deposit they will observe for Giardia. Did you understand? So basically this is a technique to obtain the duodenal specimen. They are going to use a coiled thread with gelatin capsule weight. They attach the free end to the cheek. The person is swallowing the capsule. Then the capsule passes through the stomach and to the duodenum. After 2 hours, they will withdraw the thread and they will place this in the saline. Then they will centrifuge the saline and examine the deposit in the they will try to examine the deposit for Giardia. So this is an expensive but and not recommended test, okay, but it's kind of an interesting thing. Moving on, in lab diagnosis of Giardia lamblia we are. Now we will move on to the serodiagnosis, where you can detect the antigen or the antibody. So in serodiagnosis, you have antigen detection, antibody detection, standard, you know this, and whenever you write this, you will write ELISA, that is also standard for you. So enzyme linked immunosorbent assay is commercially, kits are available for detecting the Giardia specific antigen, GSA, but they have written as GAS65. GAS65 is the antigen. If you want, you can write this to get some marks. GAS65 is the antigen that you can detect. What and all are the other things you can use? Indirect immunofluorescence, in immunochromatographic strip, etc. These are using monoclonal antibodies. So you will detect the antigen by using monoclonal antibodies. So you will have the antibodies, known antibodies you will have, you will put and you will try to detect the antigen. And you will, if there is antigen presence, then it indicates active infection, okay. And you can use this usually for epidemiology. Antibody detection, again you can use same thing, indirect immunofluorescence, ELISA, standard things. This antibody detection, they are saying you cannot in this case differentiate whether it is a recent infection or past infection. Moving on, in lab diagnosis itself, you have molecular methods, PCR, DNA probe, etc. These are going to be highly specific, right? Because they are going to the DNA level, DNA probe, PCR, etc. Guys, so that was about the lab diagnosis of Giardia lamblia. Now we will just conclude it with some treatment, okay? So what treatment you will give these people? Same thing, metronidazole, tinidazole, very standard treatment that we write for parasitic infestation, metronidazole, tinidazole. For protozoa, we always say this, no, metronidazole, tinidazole. Whenever there are helminths, we will say what? Albendazole, mebendazole, etc. So here in protozoa, you always write metronidazole, tinidazole. If the person is pregnant, you can give parmomycin, okay, which is an oral aminoglycoside. You can give parmomycin, okay. Prophylaxis, that means prevention. How will you prevent? By maintaining hygiene, okay. So we are done with Giardia lamblia. So this is Giardia lamblia trophozoite. Recap, we saw what it is. It is a flagellate protozoa. It lives in the duodenum, jejunum. So it is an intestinal flagellate protozoa. It is found in the lumen. This is the trophozoite form. This is the front view. This is the lateral view. Did you take a close look at it? This is the front view and this is the lateral view. So there are 4 pairs of flagella, 2 nuclei in the trophozoite, 2 median, what is this called as basal body, parabasal body or median body. Then this is 2 axostyles will be there, 2 axostyles. Then this is the suckling disc. You can see this is the nucleus. In the center there is a central karyosome, okay. And then you can see this is the cyst. The cyst has a thick wall, as you can see here. The cyst has a thick wall. It has an axoneme and it has 4 nuclei. If it is mature, it will have 4 nuclei, the cyst of Giardia lamblia. So then, let's move on. Then we saw the history. Antony von Leeuwenhoek, he found these things in his own stool actually. He discovered microscope, correct? Morphology of Giardia lamblia we have explained in detail. It is tennis racket shaped, etc. They have the falling leaf motility. Remember that? Life cycle we saw. Man gets infected by contaminated food, homosexuality, etc. Some people are extra susceptible if they have blood group A. So if you have blood group A, you are extra susceptible to giardiasis. Now in the small intestine, what happens? It will get excysted, that will come out of the cyst, and one cyst will give 2 trophozoites. Trophozoites will longitudinally divide in longitudinal binary fission and they'll multiply. These cysts then they will adhere to, these trophozoites will adhere to the small intestine with all that suckling disc. Some of them will be in the lumen and they will move to the large intestine where they will become cyst again and they will be passed in the feces. Okay. That's all in the life cycle. Life cycle they will ask in the exam so that you can draw all these trophozoite and cyst and also they are very happy they can understand morphology also. So that's why they'll ask life cycle. Then clinical features, you should not forget diarrhea, and remember they only adhere to the small intestine and cause villi disruption. They are not going to invade, and the diarrhea, whatever diarrhea is there, there will be mucus in it and lot of fat, so it will be having very offensive odor. These people will have lot of malabsorption of protein, sugar, vitamin A, etc. So they'll be having weight loss. They are malnourished. They can sometimes, these giardia can go to the gallbladder. Actually, they said here it will not invade, so I don't know how it reached the gallbladder, but it will reach the gallbladder and it can cause biliary colic and jaundice. Okay. Some surface antigen gives the virulence for this Giardia lamblia. Lab diagnosis, typical lab diagnosis is stool examination. You will see the trophozoites and the cysts. If there are only cysts, it can be an asymptomatic carrier. The stool will be having offensive odor with fat, okay. So you can use some concentration techniques, or you can take multiple specimens of the stool and you can use concentration techniques, okay. So you need multiple specimens and you can use concentration techniques to concentrate the stool. You will use saline mount, wet mount, etc. String test or entero test is to reach the duodenum and get some duodenal specimen. We have explained this in detail to you already. Then serodiagnosis. In serodiagnosis, you will do antigen detection, antibody detection, and antigen detection. You will use ELISA. You will detect this Gas65 antigen. You can use indirect immunofluorescence, immunochromatographic strip, etc. You will use monoclonal antibodies to detect the antigens. If there is antigen, it means to say that there is an active infection, okay, and this is usually used for epidemiological studies. Antibody detection, again you will use ELISA, indirect immunofluorescence, but this cannot distinguish between recent or past infection. That's what the textbook says. So that is what we are exactly saying. Then moving on. Molecular methods, DNA probe, these are highly specific because you are going to the DNA level. The treatment of giardiasis is metronidazole, tinidazole. They seem to like tinidazole more than metronidazole for giardiasis, okay. If the person is pregnant, you can give parmomycin, okay, which is an oral aminoglycoside. Prevention is better than cure, so just hygiene can prevent a lot of giardiasis, okay. So guys, there you go, Giardia lamblia.